But I'ma let it go because it really ain't a thing to me, yeah. I stay focused on my trip, I'm flying. You stay lying, I ain't lying. Shit, you say I can just read your mind.
Yo, you lot, what you lot saying? Welcome back to another episode of OUTSIDEIN. This is the third episode. If you lot haven't gone and seen, we've got episode 1 and 2 on OUTSIDEIN.cast. But furthermore, I got one more big shout out to do. Obviously, my boy Z1Up, if you lot haven't seen, he's got a couple YouTube videos there. Make sure you check it out. The link's there as well. Obviously, we just went kick game and stuff. Obviously, there should be another video by the time this one comes out. But yeah, make sure you check it out. Obviously, today, very special day. Okay, so I've got a very special guest. Do you want to introduce yourself?
My name is Sav Kyriacou. I'm the owner of MUSCLEWORKS Gym.
Yeah.
I've been a gym owner since 1985.
Did you start MUSCLEWORKS in 1890?
No,
1985?
my first gym was the one in Tottenham, Bodyworks, which I had for 3 years.
Okay.
Then I sold that, and then I moved to Bethnal Green in 89.
Okay.
So since 88, 89, we've been in Bethnal Green as MUSCLEWORKS.
Okay. So, Sav, let's go to the beginning. So talk to me about, like, where did you grow up? How was your childhood and everything?
Basically, I was born in Cyprus. I'm a Greek Cypriot. I left Cyprus in 1974 when I was 14 years old as a refugee, you could say, because
Cyprus was under war at that time.
It was a war zone at the time, and because I was under 16, as a male, I was allowed to leave.
Okay.
So I came to England, to London, in 1974. I stayed with some relatives for about 6 months, and after that, I lived by myself, worked, fended for myself, basically from the age of 14 and a half.
Okay.
I went to school, I done my O-levels, my A-levels, but unfortunately, because I wasn't a British citizen, I couldn't go to university.
Okay.
Because to go, I would have had to pay, but I couldn't afford to pay and leave, and
Was that always something that you wanted to do, to go to university?
Yes. That's a dream that I had, I suppose, since I was a child. I wanted to go to university. I wanted to get some type of degree, not for the sake of having a degree, for, I suppose, proving to yourself and maybe other people that you're worth
something.
Okay, yeah. I didn't have a very good childhood. So that's why when I left, when I left Cyprus, and I was here as a 14-year-old, as a teenager, all my friends that I had and I made sure they were not, they wouldn't give me a bad influence.
Okay, so you chose the right friends.
I was very concerned about not doing anything that could be addictive, that could...
So no drugs, no nothing like that.
No.
Yeah.
And also that things that I wanted to do in my life is like I had a roadmap from that age that I wanted to do something
make something
worthwhile,
of yourself.
make something of myself. Not for the money sake of things, not so you could be wealthy and have, it wasn't that drive. It was the drive that you do something successful. It's like, I suppose it's like a painter, an artist that paints something. Most of the big artists, they don't know that painting,
it's going to work.
Most of the artists didn't even sell anything when they were alive.
So basically, your one wasn't because of the money situation. It was to make yourself, to give yourself self-fulfillment in a way, yeah.
I mean, the gym business, I suppose, I started training when I was 20. I wanted to start training before that, but I couldn't. I didn't have the time. I didn't have the time because it was no time.
When you're 20, you've got a lot of things that you've got to work, you've got your life, your family.
I mean, don't forget, I didn't have a family here, so I had to fend for myself. So my sort of ambition and my whole passion for training, I suppose it started in the 60s back home when I was watching the Hercules movies in the cinema. You know, with Steve Reeves and Reg Park, which I didn't know then who they were till I got into bodybuilding, and then I found out who they actually were.
How was Cyprus back then? Because obviously it was
Cyprus was actually, you know, we got our independence in 1960, and by 1974 the economy was good. Everything was okay. It wasn't.
Did you enjoy it back then when you was there?
Yeah, I mean, it was nice. I came from a village. I was only a couple of miles away from a town.
Have you visited Cyprus ever since? Have you visited Cyprus?
No, I mean, when I came, I didn't go back for 19 years.
No, yeah.
I came at 14. I went back at 33, 34.
Oh,
the first time I went back.
Okay.
I saw my mum and dad in 19 years twice when they came over to see me. I couldn't go back because I was over 18 by then, obviously. And if you went back, you had to do your national service for 26 months.
Okay.
And I wasn't prepared to do that, you know, take out of my life 26 months so I could do the national service, which would serve nothing. You know, we couldn't defend ourselves in any capacity, or we couldn't fight anybody. We couldn't, because we had no air force, we had no airplanes, we had no tanks. We had nothing. It was just a sort of a symbolic thing, having an army in Cyprus, because we couldn't do anything anyway. The Turks came within a week that took 40% of the land, you know. So my main objective was to succeed in business. As I said, I've opened my first gym in 1985 when I was 25 years old.
Okay.
And I've done...
Sticking to when you was like younger in your childhood and that, what obstacles and struggles would you say you overcame when you was younger, like the struggles that we wouldn't get here?
I mean, the biggest obstacle really was there was political sort of problems in Cyprus, and that interfered with our education a little bit. And it was a political side that created problems that shouldn't be there. I had a very strict father, which, you know, for some reason, even at a young age, I was supposed... Okay, I had an older brother which was 2.5, 3 years older than me.
Okay, yeah.
And he couldn't do no wrong in anything. But for me, my father, for some reason, he just didn't treat me the same way. And that bothered me.
So you'd say your brother just got away with a lot more than you would have?
Well, no, I'm not doing anything wrong. Like, you know, I used to play, I was playing football from the age of like first year juniors, which was I was about 6 years old.
Okay.
Which is in the village school, and I was playing till I was 12 for 6 years, playing football. We play other teams from.
So you're a baller, yeah?
I was a goalkeeper.
Oh,
I was too short though. I was too short.
You just got stuck in the goalkeeper.
Anyway, but the problem was that my parents never come to see me play football once.
Oh.
Okay, I would be will have theatre at school, and for some reason, a couple of teachers liked me.
Yeah.
So I would play really important roles in
like
Greek,
the lead role,
in Greek trilogies, and you know, our Greek history and Greek, you know. And my parents never come to see me once.
Did that affect you when you were younger? Of
Yeah,
course,
it bothered me. Why? But for my brother, it was a completely different story. So that made me become a stronger person. I suppose I wanted to prove.
Basically, it made you a little bit more independent.
Yes, and that made me also not to diverse from my dreams and my focus in what I wanted to achieve.
Okay.
So even at that young age, I wouldn't allow, you know, if I had a friend and I found out he was doing drugs or he was drinking or doing things, I would just cut him off. I didn't want to be involved in anything negative that could stop my ambition and my drive and my focus on what I wanted to achieve. I wanted to have the best gym in London. I wanted to try and emulate the Gold's Gym of America at the time. And that drove me to work more hours to make sure I did things right.
Okay, yeah. So speaking on your childhood, what was like the biggest inspiration you had? Like obviously for us, like we'd have like Muhammad Ali, Cristiano Ronaldo for a lot of you. I know Speed's got Cristiano, but like we'll see what's going on. What was your like biggest inspiration?
I'll tell you a story. Okay, my father worked for, we had a shop in the village, but also my father worked as a driver, driving tankers for fuel, to petrol.
Okay, yeah.
Which he would deliver to different petrol stations in Cyprus. One petrol station was owned by a goalkeeper that played for a team in my town. And also he was a national goalkeeper for the national team. Okay. And it was sort of my hero of that time, that I looked up to, the fact that, because as in sport I'm talking about now.
Yeah.
At that age, from the age of say 6, 7, you sport is very important. You don't think about...
Yeah, because all I know is in primary, the most important thing being the fastest and everything like that. Yeah.
He's like footballer. He was a footballer, and I admired him. And I was begging my father, when he delivered fuel to his petrol station, to take me with him so I could meet him.
Okay.
Because I would see him in the football matches. I would see him like closely, but I couldn't get a chance to speak to him, and he wouldn't take me. And that was my biggest inspiration. The other inspiration I had when he came to, I suppose, training was Steve Reeves, which, if anybody knows, he made the first Hercules movies in the 60s, which they were made in Italy, actually.
Okay.
Like spaghetti westerns were made by an Italian, and they were made in Europe. The same with those Hercules movies, they were made in Europe. And he was my inspiration because I could see he had a brilliant physique, very classical looking, very balanced, and things I read about him and the way he was as a person, that I admired. I'm not going to lie, I've never admired Arnold.
I was gonna say, when I saw, obviously, when I went into the gym to see you, I saw obviously your bodybuilder and all that, and then it just straight reminded me of Arnold.
Well, the things about Arnold, I admired his physique, but I didn't admire him as a person because he would say things just because he had a brilliant body and he achieved a lot. It didn't mean he knew really what he was talking about. And the way he was behaving as a man, I didn't like, which is proven later.
So you say that his character just wasn't the best?
Yeah, I didn't like his character. And the other thing is, people don't realize, people that don't know really bodybuilding, if Arnold was at different times in America that the racism didn't exist, a black bodybuilder named Sergio Oliva
would have been way better.
Would have been ahead of him in any time, any way, any year. And Arnold never won the Mr. Olympias that he won, because he had a much more better balanced physique. That's my opinion, but I think in this field, I'm a little bit of an expert, and I know, because he was less, but it's because of racism. He could never achieve, he could never win. He won one Mr. Olympia before Arnold came into the scene. Once Arnold came into the scene, and then at the end he stopped competing because of that reason.
Okay.
Which was sad.
Because Arnold was probably the most famous bodybuilder.
Well, he's the most famous because of the part of the reason is because of the movies, but it's because of his character. He's a very,
a loud character, a loud persona.
You notice him. He's got charisma.
But I think some people, that's very smart though, if you think about it. Like, if you don't know, from our times, you got Conor McGregor. Like, I think in sort of a sports sense, you need that sort of because...
No, you need charisma, but sometimes...
It could come across wrong.
I don't want to mention names, but you could come across too arrogant and too stupid, really.
Give me one example.
I don't want to say names, It's okay, you can take from... I used the example of Arnold not being... maybe... So, Arnold is very charismatic, he's very clever person, is, you know, but certain things on his character, I never really, basically he was never my hero.
Okay.
Other examples in sports exist.
Yeah,
you know,
because obviously there's Conor McGregor. There's a few more, innit?
You know, they're so good at what they do, and they don't be, you know, because end of the day, people that watch these people, they're very impressionable, especially young people.
Okay.
And it's as adults, we should take care of how the youth perceives those people. So, you know, being loud and arrogant and doing stupid things, you know, it's emulated by the kids. They think, so and so done that, so I can do it, and that's no example. And this is our society I'm talking about. So we have to be careful how.
I'm not gonna lie,
I've never
thought of it like that. I never actually thought about it like that, because I just think that, like, you know, the loud, charismatic thing, I think that's really smart of them, because then
but you could be loud.
Noticed.
You could be loud, you be charismatic, and you could use your charisma in a positive way. Okay. Instead of doing things that you know, will be negative or become negative for the youth. And you can see that in our society. We should be, you know, obviously my age, you know, I see things a little bit different. Yeah. But I don't think I've changed as a person, because I thought like that going back in time. Okay. As I said, I wanted to make sure that, you know, I didn't just talk about, I want to do this, I want to do that. I went slowly.
You did little steps.
Yeah, and plan it and do it in a very sort of slow but positive way. Okay.
So how did you manage to get into bodybuilding? Because I don't see it every day, like a youth just picks up like a little weight dumbbell and just starts going mad. How is it that you managed to get into it?
No, I mean, as I said, the inspiration came from watching the Hercules movies. And because I research things, when things don't make sense or I don't understand them, I try and find out as much as I can. Okay. I mean, I've got magazines going back to 1947, 46, 48. I made sure that I learned about why we do what we do now, why we train the way we train, which a lot of the time is wrong. How did we get to that point? What created that? I mean, I found out, this is going back in time, I found out that every single bodybuilding champion came from an Olympic weightlifting background. Basically, people were into Olympic weightlifting. That was the thing. You wanted to lift weights. They assumed that's the way it was. So people went to weightlifting gyms to learn Olympic weightlifting. Okay. But Olympic weightlifting does not produce big muscles. It's not in that respect, apart maybe from your legs, that because you do a lot of squats, the thighs grow quite quick. But upper body, for the amount of weight that you're shifting, is not. It doesn't make sense, because your muscles don't really develop. So people started doing so-called bodybuilding exercises. Yeah. But people did those bodybuilding exercises utilizing Olympic weightlifting sort of
backgrounds,
methodology, which is, it doesn't matter how you lift the weight as long as you lift it. That's what matters.
With the form, so you're talking about the form.
So the momentum takes over. So that's why people, the way we train and the way I learn how to train, the first thing I should have been told is when I go to the gym is, if you want to build muscles, eliminate outside forces from helping you lift that weight, which means your muscles will do as much lifting as possible. Okay. If you're using momentum, the momentum is doing a lot of the lifting, not your muscles. So you're training to build bigger muscles by training your muscles, but at the same time you're not doing it. Why do people do that? So I went back and I figured it out. I never read this anywhere. I figured it out when I found out up to late 1950s, every single bodybuilding champion came from an Olympic weightlifting background. Then that explains it. Okay. That explains why we train the way we train, why the champions in the past trained the way they trained, and why they carry on doing that. Okay. Which it could have been a lot easier if they changed it. It could have prevented a lot of injuries. It could create more progressive muscle building by doing things more correct. Not just the genetic people that have genetic potential more to improve easier. Because you have that. You go into the gym, you see somebody, you might have friends like that you think, how come she's growing so much in muscle? We're doing the same thing, but I'm not growing as much. It all boils down to genetics. It all depends what genetics your
So
parents
the genetics, like your
passed on to
biology,
you.
like describe
Yeah,
it.
it's the most important thing. And
Peak
that goes
times, man, peak
and that goes
times.
for every sport. You know, you could do the perfect training, you can do the perfect dieting, you can do the perfect everything. But somebody with better genetics would always be ahead of you, no matter what.
Someone donate me some of that genetics, please. I need to grow. But yeah.
Yeah, no, but that's you know, if you're gonna blame anybody, I suppose blame your parents. Because
Mom, Dad, I'm coming for you, you know. But so you went into the bodybuilding. Like, how was that? How was camp? Like, wasn't it extremely hard?
I was 25 years old in 1985. By then, I looked at every single photograph of the original Gold's Gym in America, which was in Venice, which wasn't very big.
Yeah.
The way the equipment was black. This is the way it looked like, the dumbbells. So I tried to emulate that from the first gym I opened. And I knew that you required to create a name and an atmosphere, people that trained seriously, they were quite good at what they were doing.
Yeah.
They were training not just to lose body fat and to be fit, they wanted to get bigger muscles they had. So I created that atmosphere in my original first gym. When I sold it and then I opened MUSCLEWORKS, I carried on with the same thing. That's why MUSCLEWORKS now is in the third
Rated gym
premises.
Oh.
No, it's in the third premises. Because originally it was in Bethnal Green Road.
Oh,
Then
so you
we
changed
moved-
the like location
Then,
every
yeah, it
time?
was smaller, and the main road, 461, which is still it's a personal training gym now.
Okay.
I made that in.
So you're still under ownership of it?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
But that was the original MUSCLEWORKS.
Yeah.
Then I knew I'd outgrown it because it wasn't that big. So we moved into Hague Street,
Okay.
which was on the off Bethnal Green Road
Yeah.
by Weavers Park. Then when I outgrown that, that's why we moved to the new premises in Valence Road.
Yeah.
To be able to have more space, bring new ideas in, because things change, evolution happens.
Yeah.
You have to, if you don't evolve, you die. Any business, any sport, anything that does not evolve,
Survival of the
dies.
fittest, yeah.
So you have to evolve. You have to go with the times, you have to add things, and obviously we had to do that. At the moment, I'm trying to get next door.
Okay, like the next door of the gym?
Yeah, the empty
Alright.
building next door, which was going to be used for something else, but the owners changed their mind and they offered it to me. So we're negotiating now. So hopefully I can even
How much are we talking? What's the figures?
No, I won't give you figures, but it's going to be another 7,000 square feet.
How much are we talking? Like
at the moment,
hundreds or?
At the moment, we've got 11,500 square feet.
Okay.
So another 7, it will make it 18,500 square feet,
Okay.
which in this area in London,
It's
cost a lot of
hefty,
money.
yeah, it's hefty.
But it'd be worth it because then it will be the way I want it, you know, more. Because still is not what I have in my head. It should be.
So you have more ambitions. You want to make it
Yeah.
bigger. You want to.
Yeah, even at my age.
No, look at you. You still look fit for your age.
I'm 62 now.
No way.
Yeah, I was born 1960.
Oh my! You still look a lot hencher than a
Nah,
lot of
it's
men
good.
that I know. But then, so I understand. You know the competition you did. Like I've seen it. You look proper like Arnold. You're massive. Like your whole thing. Your
Yeah, I mean, with
physique.
the competition, I competed maybe 15, 16 times. I've done well.
16 times.
Yeah.
Okay.
The problem with that is I realized that genetically I couldn't become
Bigger.
a top champion, you know? So, and because I had the business, I wanted to concentrate more in the business. I wanted to concentrate in more helping other people that had better genetics than me,
Okay.
that they could achieve their goals.
So you wanted to become the
help them
trainer
that.
instead.
Yeah, and that's, you know, and I still carried on training, but, you know, it's no good chasing a dream that you know is not going to happen. You know, I could never be Mr. Olympia, for example. Why, you know, utilize all that time? Because I understand the body. I understand how it works. I understand genetics. I understand all those things that a lot of people don't. And they have their ambition and they're so focused, which is not good. They have to learn to understand their limitations and not try and, you know, it's like trying to knock a wall down with a toothpick. It's never going to happen.
Yeah.
You
For
know?
the people that don't believe me, Sav, you looked incredible, like condition back in the day. There'll be like a picture of someone on the screen for you lot to see. Like it's all around MUSCLEWORKS if you lot go there. But then Sav, I was gonna ask, you know, within that competition, there was like a lot of like stereotype and media about like steroid users at the time. Did you come across any of that?
Any
Steroid users.
steroid?
Like there was a lot of people.
Yeah, you have, because there was never testing. You know, that's another reason why I stopped competing.
Okay.
Because there's never testing, there was never a sort of limitation to what you could do and what you could do. Yes, it's part of. But I mean, look at the other day.
Yeah.
In a boxing, one of the boxers was found to be using something. Well, actually, it's not steroids. What he was using, okay, the chemical that he would use is a chemical that they use for fertility.
Okay? Like for women like, to get babies.
Yes, women and men for fertility.
Yeah.
Okay, which means to try and become more fertile. Your sperm will become more fertile.
Yeah, for having kids.
Okay.
Yeah.
In reality, because I know enough about this sport, I know enough about the whole pharmaceutical side of things. It's such a small thing, but still it could give you that edge.
Okay.
You know, and if you go back in history, even going back to the original Olympics, for example, which was in Greece, people would always try and find something they could use to improve their performance. It's something, so unless there's a way of controlling it, so people are not using it.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Russia. Yeah, it was controlled by the government, state-sponsored doping, to make sure that the athletes could use chemicals and to be able to pass the tests so they could win more gold medals.
Opinion, like
so
the game's just rigged.
You know, so it is, anywhere there is competition, people will find, will
ways
want to use something to get the edge.
Okay.
I don't want to use the word cheating, because if everybody's doing it, it's not cheating.
Yeah.
You know, it's trying to get the edge. Trying to get the edge using things that you're not supposed to, then that's wrong.
Okay, yeah. So talk to me about, so we've conquered obviously the childhood, the competition. So how was MUSCLEWORKS? Did you face any like struggles with MUSCLEWORKS? Like any like hints, like maybe
the biggest problem we had with the gym was trying to get the people that come to the gym to respect the equipment and respect the space.
So you had like proper Karens there, like just
No, but yeah, that is the problem. Is, you know, even today, somebody's training, they're doing dumbbell press, they drop the dumbbells down, instead of pulling them down, the dumbbell bounces and hits the guy on the knee. Thank God it wasn't a big, you know, he just bruised it.
Yeah.
He didn't break anything.
Okay.
But even today, there is a problem with people respecting other people's equipment, other people's space. And that is a problem that I'm trying to keep on top of, to try and get people to. And that's the biggest challenge, really, is people not respecting the gym, not respecting their fellow trainers. I'm not saying, you know,
safety,
it's a very small minority, but that minority is posing for the rest.
Okay, yeah.
You know, and in this country seems to be slower to get to that point. If you go in America, you don't have to tell anybody to put their dumbbells back on the rack or their weights, or put the dumbbells on the rack in order. There it's done, because they've been doing it for the last 50 years. Here we've been doing it for the last 5 years. You know?
Yeah. So, did you have any support? Did you have like a business partner, or is it all on yourself?
No, all I wanted to try and I try to teach this to people, is that try to learn about everything. It doesn't matter if it's history, politics, geography. Try and reach your knowledge.
Your full potential.
Because sometimes, you know the expression, knowledge is power.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to give you an example now what happened, all right? And you can see from that how much it helped me as a businessman when I was 25 years old. At that time, you could go to the bank and ask for a loan. It's not like now, it has, you know, the computer basically tells you if you can have a loan or not. And you sat down with a bank manager and you told him what you wanted to do. You showed him whatever you had, assets or you didn't have, and the bank manager decided there and then if he's going to give you the loan or not.
Okay.
Okay, I saved some money, and I wanted to open a gym. So I went to the bank manager, and from his name, I could see he had, it was Armenian.
Okay.
Armenian name. And I knew about Armenians because we had them in Cyprus, because Armenians left Turkey in 1922 when there was a genocide against them.
Yeah.
Okay? And they left, and a lot of them went to Lebanon, a lot of them they came to Cyprus. They went to Christian countries because they were Orthodox Christians like the Greek Cypriots are.
Yeah.
A lot of them went to France. Anyway, luckily that week I read an article in a magazine, it was before internet, about France being the first country to recognize the Armenian genocide by the Turkish of the time. Okay?
Yeah.
They actually recognized it. It was the only first country to recognize the genocide.
Yeah.
So when I saw his name, before we started talking, I said to him, "Are you Armenian?" And he said to me, "Yeah, how do you know?" I said, "I feel your name."
Yeah.
And I said to him, "Oh, you got some, I'm not going to say good news, but some news about..."
France, yeah.
Okay, so I told him. He didn't even know.
Oh my God.
Okay, and I told him that I've just read that's happened, and he was like happy. Let me tell you, from that minute onwards, whatever I asked him, he would have given me.
Okay.
Because then I talked about what I wanted to do about my business. I talked about how I wanted to do it, what finances I had, what equipment I've already purchased at that point. I've done everything like I should have done.
Yeah.
But I know, because I mentioned that and because I knew it, and I'm not Armenian, so how comes I took interest in that, for example, to know it? He thought, this person, this is what I assume, okay?
Yeah.
This person seems to be a little bit clued on. It's not.
Yeah.
You know, so I took the photographs of the bodybuilding show I just won. I took in the photographs. I said, "This is what I've done. This is what I'm doing." You know, so he was interested.
It was either that or he was scared of you.
No. He wasn't like that. I was very polite. I'm a polite guy.
Yeah, I know, but you must have looked big and scary to him.
No, it wasn't like that. No, but that helped.
Okay.
Do
So he knew you were serious. Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm trying to say? It's just knowing that from nothing, from nowhere, helped me start my business.
Okay.
Because if you knock me back, I don't think I could have probably got the loan.
Where it is today.
You know, I didn't have any other assets. I've had a little bit of money that I had. I bought some equipment. But he lent me money to even buy the building.
Okay.
So I bought the building freehold.
So you were the complete owner of the building.
And he, had a 90% mortgage, for example. But he gave me that money to be able to buy with no assets.
Oh, okay. Because right now it is a
now
nightmare. It's a nightmare.
No,
it's
you
complete nightmare.
need assets. You need collateral. You need all that. But at that time it was a little bit easier. But what I know helped was the fact that I knew something that connected me and him, and he thought, that could be anything. I'm just giving you the example. That's what happened. Okay. And that's the truth story. It happened. And, I was so grateful that I knew enough about the history. I knew enough. And this is what I do. In January, I'm starting an Open University degree for history and politics.
You're going to do a degree?
Yeah.
You finally completing your dream.
I've got the time a bit more now.
Yeah.
At current point, I need to do it. I need to do it for my personal thing, because I
it's like a bucket list that.
I know. I read. I'm self-taught about everything. I read about, I've done a course in biomechanics and exercise, which I didn't have to do, but I did it because it's going to enrich my knowledge on the subject. That questions I've had for years, they are answered like that because I understand now. Okay. Biomechanics, it's a Greek word, biomechaniki, which means life and movement. And like, so the body is like a machine. So all the movements that you can do and the angles, it's basically physics and biology, combined together. It's simple. It's not so complicated, especially now with the knowledge that exists. You know, you can Google now, you know, how do the fibers on your chest go?
Yeah,
you know, what shape are they? Which line they take?
You with the internet now, anything you need to know is just
It's
type
easy
it up.
to know.
It's there.
Before, in my time, when I was younger,
books and
you
you have to go
had to
seek
buy
it.
books or go to the library and go through it.
Yeah.
But even then, you could still know. You can get a book on how the fibers on your rear delta,
Yeah.
which way they go. So that's how you know. And when you understand, you should know which exercises are the best and which are rubbish.
Yeah.
You know, and it's simple to learn and to know because it's facts. It's not opinions.
Okay, yeah. Is there any, you know, with MUSCLEWORKS, is there any like stress behind it that the people don't see? Because obviously,
There is stress, of course, because of, you know, just when you was coming to get me.
Yeah, I saw you on the
You know,
phone.
I had a phone call from my other gym in Stoke Newington, telling me that the credit card machine, the card machine, was playing up.
Oh.
Okay, and we don't have a spare one there, which means if he plays up, then we can't. And now everybody wants to pay by card. It's going to be a problem. So I have to go and deal with it tonight.
Oh my god.
It's working, but not working as good, so it might be a problem. And you know, I can't even make a phone call now. I have to make it in the morning because the office is shut.
Okay, so there are a lot of stresses when it comes to the business. Yeah. How many gyms are there under your ownership? Because obviously you talked about the other one. How many? So there's MUSCLEWORKS.
No, I got the one in Stoke Newington. I've had the one in Enfield, which I've sold just before COVID started.
Okay.
The one in Bethnal Green was a ladies only. It was called Bodylines, but I closed that and made it into a personal training gym.
Okay. So it's only for like people.
The Orpington gym is a franchise, and of course some other businesses, but that, you know, is. But the gym, the reason why I sold the Enfield gym is because it was quite big as well and very busy. But I wanted to concentrate more in here because we were going to be opening 24/7, and I know having a gym
24/7 is a long shift, night shift.
It is a more problematic, and you know, more things could happen wrong. So I needed to be available as much and spend more time here.
Yeah, and
because I
teach
knew
like,
here
all
is
your managers the ropes and everything.
No, I mean this area. I love this area. I've been, you know, I used to come to when Spitalfields Market. Used to be a fruit and veg market, not the way you know it now.
Okay.
That building used to be a market, a proper fruit and veg market.
Okay.
And since 1974, I was coming till I opened the gym and I left that because I was working in the beginning when I was at school. I was working part-time in a greengrocery supermarket store.
Yeah.
So I would come with the boss 4 o'clock in the morning. Do the market, load up the van, go back to the shop, unload it, and then go to school.
Oh my god! So you had the grind from when you were younger.
Okay.
Yeah.
So and then I'll go back to work after school. So I've been coming to Bethnal Green since 1974.
Oh my gosh!
So I knew the area, but then it wasn't as nice as it is now. I mean, it was, you know, it was deprived. It was a lot of shops were shut. It wasn't the same. Then they closed the Spitalfields fruit and veg market, and they moved it to outside Hackney. And then they converted that at a later date into what it is now.
Yeah, I'm surprised you like.
I mean, I passed from there the other day, and I thought, oh, I used to buy the mushrooms from this place. All they did was mushrooms.
Very nostalgic to you.
Yeah, and the other place they had all the different potatoes, you know, and then another place you used to get all the fruit. It was funny walking by.
I'm surprised you just stayed here. The first chance I get, I am leaving here. Sorry guys, but I've got it. I don't know. Like, there's such a whole lot.
I don't live in the area, but I like the people here. It's so, you know, so many different cultures, different
diversity and stuff.
You know, it's not. It never gets boring.
As a business owner, so I've heard the word on the street is. You obviously I hear you got a lot of businesses, but apparently you got a lot of cars. I'm a big car guy. What cars is there you have?
Okay, before I go any further, during COVID, I sold my Ferrari Testarossa so I could finance the fact that we were closed and we were losing money. So I sold that. So
How much was that?
I had a Ferrari Testarossa and I sold it for that. If you go back in time, on the website is a car when I used to have the De Tomaso Pantera. when I moved the gym from Bethnal Green Road into the Hague Street building,
Yeah.
and I needed to expand, I needed to convert the other gym into a ladies, buy more equipment, whatever. I sold my first car, which was my boyhood's dream car, the Damaso Pantera. I sold that,
Okay.
and then I was driving an old Volvo after that.
Tables turn quick.
No, I mean I like cars, and
I'm
you
the
know,
biggest car fan. I don't know why. It's
but
just something
you know,
that I
I'm
just
more. I've never had
So
a
you're not a
BMW. I've
material
never had a
person.
BMW, and I've never had a Range Rover.
Oh my gosh.
So
Oh my gosh.
it's certain cars that I like, unusual cars.
Unusual cars.
That's
How
why I
so?
have the LC500. I've had it for 4 years, the Lexus LC500. I had it for 4 years. Excuse me. And I've only seen one on the road.
What the? You like unusual
Have you seen
weird
one?
cars?
Have you seen?
Basically,
No,
you like rare
no.
cars.
It has to be cars that I don't buy just for the name. I don't buy because everybody else likes it or everybody else wants one.
Basically, you like rare clothes.
I like something
Oh.
special. You know,
Okay.
I've got a Holden Maloo, a pickup Australian.
Okay, so you like cars that aren't heard of, or like
Well, yeah,
most people
but
you won't see
know,
around.
It's a pickup truck with a V8 engine and powerful, and it is and it's right-hand drive because it's Australian.
How did it feel buying that first Ferrari? Because from where you come, Cyprus to like London to a Ferrari.
Yeah,
like,
but it's years went by. I've had Mercedes sports. I had, but I always put the business first.
the business is what gave you the car. So
I had a
obviously-
Triumph Stag.
Pardon?
A Triumph Stag. Do you
What
know what
car's
that is?
that?
You don't even know
Oh,
what that is.
a
It's a
Triumph
classic
Stag.
car. Yeah, it's British made, convertible. Okay, and in the 70s, in the 80s, they were made in the 70s. In the 80s, were rare. And I sold it when I opened Bodyworks, my first gym in Tottenham. I sold that.
After the Ferrari, what other cars was there? Was there like anything
No, I
like
got-
major snaps?
No, if I had to sell, I would have had to sell my Bentley Azure convertible.
You have a Bentley.
Azure, the convertible one.
Not
Not the Volkswagen Bentleys, but the proper Bentley.
So you got the Bentley, the Ferrari. Like you must have loved your cars then, of course.
I don't want to talk about.
Oh, okay
But
then.
the thing is I don't have the cars to show off. I haven't
It's
because
for your personal
I
enjoyment.
look at them as work of art.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, there's a difference there. I don't get.
No, that's
I
me
will
as
probably
well,
never
yeah.
have an electric car because I'm a petrol head. I like the noise
Exactly
of the
like
engine.
me.
I like that. Obviously, electric car it could be faster as well because of the technology behind it,
Yeah, it is
and the
quicker,
way it
but-
works. But it's speed is not everything. It's got to have. It's like
It's gotta have the flair. The
yeah,
sound,
it's the same.
like,
It's the same
everything
walking
that
into
makes
the
it a
gym.
car.
It's the same walking into the gym. I get people saying, "Oh, I love the atmosphere here." I'm sure it's other gyms with even maybe better equipment or more equipment. But if the atmosphere is not there, if that essential life within is not,
I know it. Yeah. Like
You
the
know?
essence of it isn't there.
then it doesn't mean anything. So it has to have a meaning. It has to have.
Teslas and that don't hate me, but banging cars, environmentalists. I'm sorry, but petrol. Oof, the cars, the sound. you need
I came
quickness,
from I came from an era that petrol was the only thing in existence regarding before electric cars came off. A V8 engine was like the
Do you have
biggest
any
thing.
cars that you're looking to get anytime soon? Like anything you got your eye on, like a little Lambo or something like that.
There is one car, but it's only 100 of them made. It's called a Bristol Fighter.
Okay, I don't think I've heard of that.
No, you haven't.
Okay.
It's made by the Bristol company, which is a British car
So
company.
for a second there, I thought you was gonna see Andrew Tate and go for the Chiron or something. And like,
Nah,
wow.
no, those cars don't. The problem is, if you look at that, it's an ugly car. The reason why it sells is because of the
brand.
brand and the kudos that it gives.
No, but what is it? I'm not.
No,
really
it's not,
organic fan
if
like
you look
that,
at it as a work of art, it's a shit design. Pardon my language.
but- no, it's okay. It's okay.
So
Yeah.
you have to. I used to like Lamborghinis.
Lamborghini, yeah. That's
Yeah,
what I call,
but not
that's what I
anymore.
like.
Not anymore because the whole design is
And
gone.
it's not for the brand Lambo. I just like the look of the cars. They look mean. They look like
Yeah, but you know, different age. Don't forget, I come from an age of
yeah.
you know,
I understand.
70s, which was the Ferrari Testarossa
Yeah,
and
the Ferrari was
and the
amazing.
Lamborghini Countach. That was the
Oh, the Countach. I
yeah,
know
that was the
Countach, yeah, I know
first
the
two
Countach.
supercars that existed.
So guys, we're coming to sort of the end of the podcast. Have you got any last advice for anyone around there?
Advice is be truthful, honest, and good to your fellow people. That is the best advice I can give you.
So obviously that's been Outside It. A big thank you to Sav for coming on. It's been an honor.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. It's been a good story. Thank you for that. So obviously this is Outside In. Make sure you subscribe, like, check out the other podcasts. Stay tuned for more. Obviously another big shout out to my boy Z1 Up. And then yeah, thank you, Sav. Make
Thank
sure
you.
you go to MUSCLEWORKS. Get your membership. Go hit up MUSCLEWORKS. Let's go. Outside In. We're out. Right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sav, man.
Thank you,
Cheers.
man. You're very good at this.
Do you think so?
He's not shy, is he? Thank you.
But I'ma let it go because it really ain't a thing to me. Yeah. I stay focused on my trip. I'm flying. You stay flying. I ain't fine. Shit, you say I can just read your mind.